The Tale of the Vanishing Town. It was a beautiful summer morning as my husband and I were driving home after our honeymoon. The busy highway stretched before us, usually dotted with numerous cafes and motels, but as we reminisced about the most memorable moments of our romantic getaway, we paid little attention to our surroundings. The air was filled with light, rhythmic music, and there was no hint of the mystical events that were about to unfold. As noon approached, we noticed that the roadside eateries were becoming increasingly scarce until they disappeared altogether. Our lively conversation gradually faded, replaced by the gnawing sensation of hunger. It was then that we realized the highway was practically deserted, with hardly any oncoming or passing vehicles. Unable to bear the hunger any longer, I suggested, "There must be a town coming up soon. Let's stop there and grab a bite to eat." My husband agreed, and as if on cue, a turn appeared, accompanied by a signpost and enticing advertisements promising a luxurious retreat and exquisite cuisine. We took the turn and found ourselves in a small valley with a narrow river. Despite the clear, sunny weather, an eerie mist hung over the small bridge. As we crossed it, the landscape transformed completely. Majestic, snow-capped mountains loomed in the distance, and tall, coniferous trees lined the roadside. The town appeared ancient, and as we drove along the main street, we noticed a complete absence of people. No children, no elderly folks, no mothers with strollers, just an unsettling emptiness. Parked cars filled the parking lots, and vegetable stalls stood unattended, their awnings and umbrellas fluttering wildly in the wind. A sense of unease crept over us, but we pressed on. Suddenly, we came upon a large square teeming with people. At first, we thought the town was celebrating a festival, and the residents had abandoned their homes, cars, and vegetable stalls to gather there. But as we looked closer, our astonishment grew. The people moved in a dense, circular formation, seemingly without even moving their feet. They appeared to be gliding or floating through the air, entranced, silent, and oblivious to their surroundings. For a few seconds, we watched the spectacle, our mouths agape in amazement. Then, overcome by terror, we leaped into our car and sped back to the highway. The highway was now bustling with traffic, both oncoming and passing. Although it felt like we had spent no more than half an hour in the town, including the drive, the sun was already setting as we reached the highway. Immediately upon our return, we came across a roadside cafe where we ate and spent the night. Despite the cafe's simplicity, our room was incredibly luxurious, with antique oak furniture, fur-covered chairs, beautiful tapestries, and landscapes adorning the walls. The next morning, after a quick breakfast, we set off, reaching home by midday. Immersed in the familiar routine of everyday life and its challenges, I completely forgot about this bizarre experience for quite some time. One day, while enjoying a cozy gathering with friends, sharing stories over a meal, the memory of that day struck me like lightning. I decided to share the tale, expecting my husband to corroborate and add details I might have missed. To my surprise, he laughed and said, "You and your wild imagination." He insisted that nothing of the sort had happened and that we had driven along the highway the entire time. We had never stayed in an antique, luxurious room, but had simply eaten at a cafe, rested briefly, and arrived home the same day. I spent a long time sifting through my diaries and questioning relatives, trying to find evidence that we had returned from our honeymoon a day later than planned, but to no avail. To this day, I cannot fathom what truly transpired. Have you ever encountered anything similar?